To be honest, it'll sound cliche, but having some gratitude, man, there's so many things that just by nature of living in New Zealand, we should be grateful for.
What's one of the best pieces of advice someone gave you coming up in the building industry?
Probably something that we sort of live by on our team is do the right thing even if it hurts. Businesses shouldn't underestimate the power of socializing as teams.
Welcome to Tradio, the podcast giving tradesmen a space to speak up, not just about the job, but about what really goes on behind the scenes. Because while we talk a lot about the tools, we don't talk enough about what it takes to mentally stay in the game. Today we've got a guy who's doing a whole lot more than just putting up walls. Nate Ali, aka Nate the Builder, runs Sentinel Homes in Waikato. He's been in the game 15 years, building some epic homes, but also doing his bit to shake up the industry. Think less waste, better design, and looking after your crew properly. He's all about building for the future, on site, in business, and at home. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Chill, bro.
So Nate, you've been through it all, bro. Early days on the tools, now running the show, raising a family. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you onto this life path.
Yeah, cool, man. So, I'm Nate. I'm a dad to two beautiful little girls, 7 and 5, Eden and Carter, sort of loves of my life. I run my own business, got a team of 23. We build homes in the Waikato, all over the Waikato. Been growing for a long time. We're 10 years deep in this business now. And geez, why do I do what I do? Straight into the spicy questions, eh?
What's your why, bro? That's it,
It's an interesting one. Like I think what's probably led me to where I am now is just the mindset around. I just don't like the idea of sitting still. I don't like the idea of not trying to get better, or taking any opportunities to get better. So that's why growth is always a mindset, and that's how I sort of ended up where I am now, I suppose.
Excellent. I'll take you right back, bro. How did you get into building?
Look, to be honest, I wasn't bad at school. I just didn't. I didn't really like it, I was at school. I was doing all these things. I had to be there between 9 and 3, and I just got to the point where I just didn't like it. I was there just hanging out with my mates, and I thought I should be out there making some money. Always loved the thing I did like at school was PE and woodwork.
Yep.
So I thought woodwork was most likely to get me set up. And you know what they say too, like builders are always the best looking of all the trades. We don't make the most money. We're not plumbers or electricians, but you know what I mean?
That's it, bro. That's it.
So I love building though, like the idea of making stuff with my hands, being able to stand back at the end of the day and see something completed that you've worked on. It's pretty satisfying, man. Like, can't beat it. So.
Oh, excellent. I can imagine, bro, driving around Waikato with you. Yeah, I built that. Yeah, built that one.
My kids say that, eh? Funny, like, the jib weather line, how it's purple?
Yes.
Yes, bro. I've had a few houses lately that we've had with weatherline on it.
Okay.
And my kids think that's finished. They think I've been building these purple houses. They think it's awesome, bro.
Oh, shucks. So let's just walk through your career as a builder just a little bit, bro. So after school, got into building. What happened next, bro? A bit of labouring? Yeah,
cool, man. So I left school at 15. Like I said, I was over it. I had a teacher tell me that my time would probably be better spent elsewhere. So I didn't need any more encouragement than that. I was like, see you later, miss. I was in Tokoro, which is where I grew up. And there wasn't much opportunity in Tokoro. And this was in 2007 as well. So GFC, Global Financial Crisis, was like biting then.
Yes.
So there weren't many jobs around. I went door knocking in Hamilton. And one of the guys I spoke to had a good business but wasn't hiring. He said, I'll go do your pre-trade. So
excellent.
I signed up at Wintech and did my level 3 carpentry, I think it was called. So that was like your basics around hand tools, health and safety, all of that sort of stuff. Then by the time I'd finished that, which was around September, October, the GFC was biting even harder. Like, people were losing jobs. No one was taking on staff. No one taking on apprentices for sure. So the guy who sent me to do the pre-trade, I was doing work experience for him on a Wednesday for free, just as part of the course at Tech. And when the course was finished, I just kept turning up there. And like for free. I just kept going there, like sort of asked him if he had a job for me. Nah,
like an internship type.
Yeah, can you give me an apprenticeship? Nah. And I was like, oh, I might as well, I'll just keep turning up and he won't have an option. So after a week, he said, oh, look, you've been working pretty hard. I've got this job. We can give you work till Christmas, but then that'll be it. So he signed me up, worked till Christmas, and then I never left. And yeah, he kept me on after Christmas, but I had to work my ass off to get that job, and sort of not take no for an answer. It was sort of the only option I had because I'd left school. Had my heart set on being a builder, and so I didn't really have a plan B at that point. So thankfully he gave me the opportunity, and I was able to make that work. After that, obviously did my apprenticeship, finished my apprenticeship in about 2010, 2011, and 6 months before the Christchurch earthquakes. So I got qualified. I was running my own jobs for that guy who gave me my apprenticeship, and then the earthquakes happened, and they were screaming out for people down there. And so I saw an opportunity there. In hindsight, I probably wish I'd given a bit more to my old employer who'd given me that opportunity. But I spent some time with him recently, and we're all good about it now. But yeah, went down there, basically doubled my income by going down to Christchurch and contracting down there, doing emergency repairs and all that. And a mean experience too. Pretty eye-opening in terms of what was going on down there. Saw grown men crying because their house had been completely ruined in the quakes and all of that. So saw everything like that. Played a bit of code down there. Made some good friends, and then came back to Hamilton. Went out on my own, learned everything the hard way, man. When I first went out on my own, I was 19 when I first went out on my own.
Sharks.
And thought I knew it all, bro, and made all the mistakes that a young builder makes in starting their own business. But then, that sort of led me to being introduced to Sentinel Homes, who I'm with now. And so that's been nearly 10 years ago. Bought that business in partnership with my auntie at the time.
Excellent.
And then over that sort of 10-year span, we've grown to be one of the bigger builders in the Waikato. We build sort of 40 or 50 homes a year. Got a team of 23, I think we are at the moment. Just got a cool team. I love our business. Like it's a lot of fun. We do things. We're probably a little bit unorthodox compared to the old group housing companies, but we have a lot of fun.
How so, bro?
I guess we do things a little bit
less cookie cutter type stuff.
Yeah, less cookie cutter. I mean, our core business is design and build, so we place a lot of emphasis on good design.
Excellent.
Building something that's custom for a site and custom for a whānau and their lifestyle. We don't want people to just pick a standard plan, slap it on a site and have fun that way. We make sure that, but I guess the way I try to frame it to people is that you can do that stuff, make it custom, and design it well so that it doesn't actually have to cost that much more money, but you'll get a way better result.
Excellent.
So that's sort of what we do. In terms of the business ourselves, we invest hugely in our team's well-being, training. We do a lot in the broader outcome space. So like for me, it's important that our business doesn't just exist to make money. Our business exists to sort of be an active part of our community and just do good for our people, our wider community, different organizations that we're a part of. We try and make business a win-win for everyone that deals with us. So
Excellent, bro. I love it. I love it, bro. That's it. Shouldn't just all be about clipping the ticket and maximizing profit at anyone's expense.
I
I
remember hearing a story early in my business journey that was like the first day of Harvard Business School. The lecturer used to stand up there and say, ask the room, what's the purpose of business? And people would say, oh, this and that and the other. And the lecturer would say, well, the definition of a business is to deliver the most value back to shareholders as possible. And I fundamentally disagree with that.
Same.
I think we have so much more responsibility than that as businesses, especially when we're such a big part of people's lives. It's a humongous part of my life, obviously, as the owner of the business. But, a lot of pretty much anyone in a job spends more time with their colleagues than what they do with their families in a lot of ways,
Big time.
And so if that's a commitment that you're going to make, you want to make it worthwhile. You want to be in a place where you're valued and enjoy being and can do good work and work to your strengths and all that sort of stuff. So, that's part of our sort of ethos.
I like it, bro.
Yeah.
And ultimately, looking after your staff and the people around you, you're gonna maximize productivity, even though that's not what it's about.
Yep.
But happier staff member, they want to work for you, bro.
Yep.
You know, they're not
100%.
at the job just to turn up and, you know, check in and check out.
Yep.
You know, so it's a bit more of a whānau base.
Yeah, 100%.
That's excellent. That's excellent. As a builder, as a fellow builder, bro. Is it mostly residential you guys do? Do you guys do mostly residential?
Yeah, new homes now, yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, bro, new homes are nice to build, bro.
Yeah. You control your own destiny, yeah.
We just put a bathroom in and the walls went plumb.
Yeah.
Everything was out. Come to put the shower in. I haven't done a shower base in a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how level it had to be. Man.
Yeah.
Just reminiscing.
Yeah, right.
So new homes are awesome.
Yeah.
I also read, bro, that a bit of your ethos for your company is a bit more sustainability. And tell us a little bit about that, bro. How do you guys go around that?
Yeah, cool. So we've just had, in the last couple of years, one of our guys, Jono, shout out to Jono, a beautiful man with a big heart and a real passion for the environment. He came to us and said, look, man, I'm sick of seeing how much waste we chuck in the skips and it goes away to landfill. There's something that I want to do about it. This is what Jono said to me, something I want to do about it. And he put this proposal forward to me about how we could basically divert all of that waste, collect it, repurpose it, and try and find a better use for it rather than sending it to landfill. So, he totally got us on board with it. And that was where something called the Waste Project was born. So we've been doing the Waste Project for about 18 months now. And as far as I know, we're the first group home builder to have no skips at all on any of our sites. So we set up these custom waste stations. We bought a truck and a high-ab, and we lease a yard. And so we've got a guy employed full-time. He's in the truck and the high-ab. He goes around collecting all the materials that would have otherwise gone in the skip.
Yep.
And that's materials that are good for reuse and waste, in terms of like soft plastics and all of that sort of stuff. And he's then filtering all of that stuff and either repurposing, selling, reusing on other sites, all of that sort of stuff. So the numbers are staggering, like in terms of how much we've diverted from landfill. It's like hundreds and hundreds of tons of waste just so far. And so for us, we're really trying to do a better job of telling that story, because we don't think like there's any excuse for anyone to not be trying to do better with that sort of stuff. And we're just a drop in the ocean in terms of the size of our business across New Zealand. And so, yeah, we think there's big gains to be had as an industry and a country, to be honest, in terms of how much we can reduce that kind of waste with very little cost. It's more or less just more effort, you know?
Yep. Yeah, smack on, bro.
Yeah.
Smack on. Yeah. If you guys can do that, imagine what the other companies can do.
Yeah.
Imagine the big companies.
Yep.
Main Zeal, I don't know if they're still around, bro.
I think they're going on. They probably didn't use their waste. No, but it's like even for us, it's been real cool in that, like, you know, straight away we've provided another job. So, you know, there's all the unintended consequences or the byproducts of what we're doing is, yeah, cool, we're reducing waste and that's out and out, that's good, right? We've provided another job for the guy who's managing all the waste and driving the high-ab. We've got more work coming out for the builders who are taking care of, so we're building cabins and selling the cabins.
Excellent.
And so far, everyone who's got one of the cabins has got somewhere else to live, you know, so it's been real cool, man, like a lot of fun, and a really cool thing for our team to do. And again, you know, Jono came to us with that idea. It was his baby and still is. He manages it and looks after it, but it's real cool. Yeah.
I love it, bro. What's it called again?
The Waste Project.
The Waste Project.
Yeah.
I love it. The Waste Project. Smart ass.
Yeah.
If you're not building, you're not spending time with your family, what else do you do for a bit of fun or just for yourself?
Oh, it changes with the seasons, bro, but lately it's been a lot of sport. Well, I've been training for triathlon and Ironman, so I got my first Ironman done about a month ago.
Excellent.
Which was a big commitment, man, and like sort of took away a fair bit from other parts of my life. So I love fishing, diving, hunting, anything outside, basically, any sort of adventure. But yeah, I haven't actually done a lot of it in the last 12 months because I've had this big commitment to the training. So That's been a bit of a lesson in itself, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I think everything needs balance, and it's not something I've ever nailed. I'm still in the pursuit of balance, but where I feel physically as fit as I've ever been in my whole life, it's gotten in the way of some of that stuff that I need for, I don't know, I guess my soul, or you know what I mean, those other things that make you tick and get you back to center. And yeah, so that's probably taken a bit of a hit in the last little while, but a big focus for me in the next sort of 6 to 12 months is to get a bit more time outside and just doing the things that I love. And if I can combine it with the physical training and fitness, then that's sort of my perfect recipe for keeping myself in the best nick.
I agree, bro. I'm very similar in respect to that. You find that you either work on the business too much and the business is doing really well, but you know, outside of the business,
things at home aren't good.
Maybe things at home, or maybe you're not getting out as much as you should. And like you say, bro, I like how you brought up soul, being centered, bro. And you know, it's what it is. It's our mental health, bro. You know, like being inside too much or on the job too much definitely takes its toll.
100%.
So good on you, bro. Bit of hunting, bit of diving, bit of sport. Bro, you're my kind of guy, bro.
Keep me happy, bro.
well, that's it. You know, I haven't been on too many jobs recently to see other guys. What struggles do you see sometimes maybe on your guys' jobs? It sounds like you look after your crew pretty well, or just in things you've seen in the past and previous jobs. Just a quick note, we looked it up last week. I was with Jesse James, and it turns out that construction workers in particular have the highest case of mental health issues in the country. Construction workers in particular. You know, tradies as a whole, but construction workers in particular, you know, they deal with it. So just on that, bro, like have you seen anything, or what's your experience in that, just with the guys or yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the silver bullet, man. It's something that I wish I did have the answer for, you know, because then we could really be proactive about doing something about it. But there's a lot of places out there on the right track. I think culturally we've got some issues on site where it's definitely getting better now. But you know, you would never talk about feeling a certain way back when I was an apprentice. You know, it was like you'd get laughed off site, or you'd get rocks thrown at you and forced off site, or you know, so that's sort of changing a lot, which is awesome. There's some great organizations out there, Mates in Construction, Mates Matter. There's this amazing organization called Building Wellness down in Taranaki. They're a regional outfit, but I think the promotion of tradies talking to each other on site, sharing any challenges and that they're having is a real key one. I think at the moment, like especially in 2025, this cost of living and stuff, man, is just putting so much pressure on people. Like, I don't know, it sort of ties into what I was saying before about like not having balance. I know certainly for me, throughout my career, it's always been, definitely since I've had kids, that pressure of being able to provide for your family and all of that sort of stuff just increases tenfold, right? And so when that gets harder to do, straight away the pressure's up. At the moment, like, builders are worried about the pipeline, about the lack of work coming up, if that's true for them, which it is for a lot. People are losing jobs. The financial pressures I think that the industry face at the moment are a massive contributor. And we work hard too, man. Like, that's something that I don't think gets talked about enough. Like, you know, from a health and safety perspective, you know, there's always talk about, you know, wanting to be as safe as possible in the job that we're doing, but there's not a lot of thought given to actually how hard the job is physically. Like, doing a 45-hour week, which was the minimum that we used to do on the tools, is hard, man. And if you're doing 45 hours of digging footings or framing or anything heavy, even like doing jibboard, man, you can't jibboard around all day. You're stuffed. And you get home and you know, we know that the tools that, or what we need to be able to use the tools that we might accumulate for looking after the top 2 inches, we actually still need to be physically on. You know, you can't call on those tools when you're exhausted. So
no way.
I feel like that's something that people kind of forget. Because I
Especially
mean
in,
the other industry that is as bad as us for their mental health stats is farming.
yes,
And it's the same thing,
same
bro.
thing.
They get up before dark and they get home after dark. So, and through winter as a carpenter, that's sort of how it is. But, there's no, I don't think that doesn't necessarily need a change as such. Like, I think builders pride themselves on working hard a lot of the time, but there needs to be recognition of that. We still need downtime. And one of the things I know too, certainly for myself, is that I could do the hard weeks. That was fine. I could do the physically hard weeks. What really stitched me up was if it went, okay, we've had a real big week. Celebrate the big week. Friday night, cool. Let's have a few beers on site. Turns into a few beers at the pub. Turns into, early hours of the morning sort of thing. Saturday night, especially as a young carpenter, someone's birthday, whatever you're doing. Couple nights, usually, that culture certainly existed, and I think it does to an extent now. All that does, man, is make the next week harder, and then you do it again, and it makes the next week harder. And I think that's definitely part of the problem. It has been over the years. So, yeah,
especially our gen. I'm a little bit older than you, bro, but the drinking culture.
Yeah.
When we were coming up in the trades, oof,
yeah,
it was pretty bad, like you say, bro. Because roof shout,
yeah,
finish shout,
yeah.
and then it carries on.
Yeah.
I think would you say it's a little bit better these days?
I think it's heaps better. Yeah. I mean, when I was an apprentice, we had a roof shout every single job. When there was a roof going on, everyone was charging the week before, going, man, there's a roof shout next week or whatever it might have been. Out of 50 houses we build a year now, we might have a couple of roof shouts. So that's changed a lot. I think it's driven a lot by the drink driving. It used to be compulsory to drink drive, and that's definitely not the one now, you know what I mean? So, I think that's had a bit to do with it. But it's a shame, like, it's one of those things too, like, I think the premise of the roof shout was epic. And it did well to build connection and stuff like that. So, I'm not saying alcohol's the key, but alcohol, I know over the years through rugby and through work, is a real good icebreaker. You know what I mean? It pulls barriers down straight away. You get to know people.
That's it.
And I don't know whether, this, again, it comes back to that balance that I was talking about before, but I think you need to have connection. And that's one of the key things that will help with the mental health. One of the ones we were talking about the other day is that Smoko on site, we used to have a dog on site, and we would go wherever he was sitting because we knew that he would find the best spot on site.
Yeah.
And everyone who was on the site, we used to call everyone in, like plumbers, brickies, whoever was on site with us.
Yep.
Bro, Smoko time, tools down. And we go sit around, we'd all have our camp chairs, we'd sit around in a circle, no phones, bro.
Excellent.
And we would just yarn, and we got to know everyone. Smoko on site now looks pretty different. It's a lot of, I hear a lot of these stories around like people sitting their own thing on site and there's phones, man, and they're just, no one's engaging with anyone because they're on TikTok or, they're in some parallel universe like that. But I reckon that's a massive contributor too.
It's huge.
Because if you're feeling a bit down or a certain way, having a conversation with your workmate who understands what's going on or might have some wisdom to share is pretty much the main thing you could do to help how you're feeling, right? But looking at TikTok and probably feeling a bit worse about yourself because you're seeing how good someone else is doing or whatever it might be, it's not helping, eh?
That's smack on, bro. It's a massive contributor. What's a problem shared is a problem halved.
100%. Yeah.
If your algorithm, I guess, is quite dark, or like you say, looking at other people enjoying themselves, because Jesse said last week most of his Instagram stuff is all highlight reel.
Yeah. 100%.
So people can't really take it at face value. Oh, amazing life, this and this, and he was saying stuff like, you don't forget about this that I had to do last week. I don't show that, all the hard stuff that I'm doing. Yeah. I'm just showing all the cool stuff. Yeah. So people are seeing that and making that comparison. Yeah. Comparison's the thief of joy. And and then they just get inside their head, like you say, no one to talk to. Yeah. And bro, it just goes downhill. Yeah. I did a few mental health one-oners down in the South Island, and that was one of the main key takeaways was just share with someone. Maybe the person who's giving you a little bit of anxiety, maybe not with them straight away, but maybe the next day or half a day later, or just with anyone, the missus, a mate, you know, and then you'll soon find the mates who are just willing to just have a little listen and just, you know, maybe offer some advice or just listen, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like some people just need it.
Yeah.
We had a really good podcast last week, and bro, most of the time I was just listening. It sounded like the bro wanted to get a lot of stuff off his chest. And it was me. I was like, man, I want to get some stuff off my chest too. You know, it was just felt safe, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like you say, with the phone out, I've even got people on jobs sitting in their cars by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, pie in this hand, we drinking here, on scrolling on the phone.
Smoker's
over. Come back up.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know each other's name. You know,
it's sad, man.
Yeah, and do you guys do anything? Oh, you spoke about your crew, so I imagine a lot of that stuff wouldn't happen at Sentinel Homes. You guys might have things in place to mitigate that type of behavior, or what do you guys do differently, bro?
Yeah, like, I mean, I definitely wouldn't sit here and say that our business is perfect, and it's not like that, because it does. I mean, it does happen on our sites. So one thing we do as a kind of way to mitigate that, I suppose, is we try and create as much opportunity for connection as we can. And so, you know, that doesn't necessarily have to be at Smoko, but, you know, every team meeting that we have, for example, we'll make sure that we do something as a team afterwards. So we're not just sitting in a room talking business. Just this week, actually, we went and tried pickleball. We went and played pickleball for the first time. Last year we did some, what did we do? Blackwater rafting. A few things like just do an activity as a team. That's only quarterly, those ones. Otherwise,
that's cool. That's still 4 times a year, bro.
Yeah. But then for the last year, fortnightly boxing sessions. So we've just stopped that. We're going to start some other stuff soon. Fortnightly boxing sessions. We've promoted a few things, like we've done ice bath and sauna sessions with the team for people that hadn't tried it. We're trying to. A big one for me, like as someone who loves sport and being physically fit, is promoting that to our team as well. So we've got a big crew of us going down to do the Hawke's Bay Marathon. There's a few doing marathon, half marathon, promoting that at every opportunity. Anything that builds connection is good. But then also we've got some things like as a business, we do this. We just call it our well-being budget. But we've basically got a budget there per person, where our team can basically just apply to use this fund for whatever they want, and the only criteria is that it's got to make their life better. So golf memberships, massages, you know, shoes, gym, all sorts, man. Like people just applying. I think we bought a wetsuit a couple of weeks ago, so the bro's wetsuit got a hole in it, and he wanted to do some diving. So
amazing,
all of that sort of stuff. And like for us, it's a big cost, man, when you break it out across the team. But we just don't view it as a cost, like it's an investment. At the end of the day, we're sort of helping these people be the best that they can, and show up the best that they can, not just for us but for their families as well. And
2 questions, bro.
Yep.
Who came up with the initiative, and where do I apply for a job?
Oh man, I honestly couldn't. I think I came up with it, but I wouldn't like to say I did if I didn't. So I think, I mean, we've been doing it for a long time now, and along with that we have a separate fund which is for training. So there's like personal development, professional development, and well-being, and so across all of those 3 things, we just make sure that our team knows that we care about it, you know. And I'm sort of a big believer too, and like I say, that those things being an investment, I think that the cost of that pales in comparison to what the business gets back. Like I said before, that's not the reason that the business does it. But, you know, acquiring a new skill, for example, or doing some training, it's not just that training that you get in return. Like, it's that feeling of, oh man, I've just learned these new things. Your confidence is up. Like, imagine if you could buy confidence. If you could buy confidence, you would spend all your money on it. You know what I mean? Because it helps everyone. But doing these things like skill acquisition or promoting physical fitness or whatever it might be, those things all promote confidence in a sense of self-fulfillment and
Yeah.
there's so many byproducts of all of that sort of stuff that are just better for everyone.
Big time.
Yeah.
What do they reckon? Exercise, one of the best antidepressants there is.
Yeah.
You know?
I heard motion is the lotion, bro. That was the one I heard the other day.
Oh, I like it. Motion is the lotion.
Motion is the lotion. I was like, ooh, it's a bit of a spicy one. But it's true though, man. Like one thing I heard too was, you know, any mental health professional worth their salt will most likely, when someone is struggling with something, will promote to them or advise them to get out and move, like both outside in the sun or on the grass or in the bush or wherever it might be, but outside and get your heart rate up.
Yep.
I reckon that's like the baseline. Like get that done and everything else becomes easier.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's especially with diving, hunting. When you're out in the bush or you're in the ocean, there's not too many worries on your mind.
Oh, it's peaceful, man. And even better if you got no phone service.
Even better.
Hey?
Even better.
Yeah.
You're in the bush, you see a stag, or you're in the water, you see a nice good fish to shoot.
Yeah.
Or some warracray.
Yeah.
Bro, there's no worries.
Yeah.
All the focus is there, everything's there. You know, yeah. So
You can't beat it, man, bro.
you guys do well. That's an awesome initiative. Just for yourself, just with the business, it's like you say, bro, it's pretty tough being a business owner. Not only are you providing for yourself and your whānau, but you got a whole lot of people working for you who they look to you to provide them with jobs for their whānaus. And what struggles have you had personally in that department, bro?
Yeah, man, like business is a roller coaster. Like it's been pretty gnarly over the years, like, and it goes in peaks and troughs. Like I think the highs that you can have from a business are magic. Like for me personally, going to handovers of these beautiful homes that didn't exist before we got there, and happy clients, the growth of the team, like all of these things, and winning in a lot of ways too. Like if the team's successful, things like House of the Year, like those highs are just so cool, man. Well, like we love that stuff. But the troughs, bro, like they are there, like they exist, man. And like you say, we don't talk about them that often because we like to share the good things. We don't share the tough stuff. But oh man, there's been times over the years. I know certainly in startup phase, and I think any young builder who's gone out on their own and trying to start their own business will know that these feels. But working 7 days a week, I was in the office until 3-4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Pricing a plan that I promised to have out by the weekend, or whatever, just working your ass off, because you got a lot on the line. And so I had times over those early years where like burnout was like, I never knew what burnout was until it happened to me, man. And it was I'd been in the office the night before until I think it was 2 or 3 in the morning. I used to get a quarter pounder at the 24/7 Macca's on the way home, just so I had something in me.
Which Macca's was it?
Yeah, Pukere and Hamilton. Shout out to them. Quarter pounder, steam the bun, extra mayo, bro.
Yeah, it is.
But I got home. I got into bed. Would have been like 3:30 when the lights went out. And then my alarm went off at I think 5:30. And so I 2 hours sleep. Would have been late in the weekend, and this wouldn't have been that was the latest night I'd done that week. But bro, my eyes opened and I couldn't move. Like full burnout, bro. Like I literally could not move. My head was saying I need to get up and get out of bed, but my body just went, nah, like this is not happening. So that was a real smack in the face, bro. There were tears. I was scared. Like I actually got scared. I finally, people have told me you can't do that or you'll burn out, and I always sort of thought I was 10 foot tall, bulletproof. No, it won't happen to me. And then boom, smacked me in the face. So that was a real wake-up call. My daughter was only young at the time. And thankfully it wasn't the burnout and then a downward spiral from there. I was able to kind of take that burnout as a real warning shot to go, holy shit, you can't keep doing this forever. And made some pretty solid changes out of that, to the point where, I don't know, I think it was horrible. but it was good for me in a lot of ways that it kind of showed me that, okay, there's a limit there, and I've got to be pretty cognizant of when that limit's approaching, to make sure I don't get there again, because performance declines, like, I think that working harder and faster is the key, but actually, like, your performance declines. You got to work smarter. So that forced a lot of changes for me, like the physical fitness change. Just I tried to employ a few routines and different things that I knew would be helpful, and have kind of built on those over there. But oh man, one thing I would say, like, that was early on in the 10 years that I've had this business. Then we had COVID, bro, and
just before you get into COVID,
yeah.
you brought on a few things, bro. What's a couple of those things? Would they be like taking on not so many jobs, or cutting off a certain time of night before you cut work off at a certain time?
So one thing that I've made sure ever since then, and I think it was probably a big contributor to me for how I sort of got to that sort of burnout phase, but what was sort of happening, I mean, any young business owner trying to, especially with kids, man, like, you're trying to provide for your family, but then, like, I was getting to the end of the week and I hadn't spent half as much time with my kids as what I would have liked to. So for me, I've got a hard cutoff now. Like, I've got to be home for the kids, and I do the nighttime routine with the kids, and then I can work after that. But the key is that if I can get to the end of the week and I've still done that every day, still fulfilling my responsibilities and getting the enjoyment that I do get out of my kids as a father, then straight away, like, that's a massive one for me.
And what time is that generally?
Oh, well, like, I'll try pick them up if I don't have to put them in after school care. Then it's like 3 o'clock till 7:30.
Mean.
Yeah. Otherwise, if they're in after school care, it'll be like 4:30 till they go to bed at 7:30. Try and read to them every night. Even just making their lunches is like something that I take sort of pride in, Like, I'll just make sure that I'm ticking those boxes as a dad, and spending that time with my kids, because it goes fast, man. Like, they're getting older, and
it's gone. It's gone after. When it's gone, it's gone.
The other ones are just like, nothing sort of rocket science, but eating well is like a massive one. Again, man, I can't speak high enough of, like, the physical activity, man, like training, just keeping fit.
What's a couple of things you do for training, bro?
Oh man, like, it's good because I've just got one of those indoor bike trainers at home now. Excellent. So, like, that's my backstop. But otherwise it's running. Do a lot of running. Just learn how to swim. And then like I talked about, trying to go bush or get outside as much as possible as well.
Excellent.
You try anything too, like, say, boxing classes, and try pickleball, bro. That's pretty crack up.
I can't believe you guys do that with your crew. I've never heard of that. And any crew that quarterly something, that's amazing, bro. I've heard of other officers doing it, like non-building officers. And I haven't heard of the trades, which is, why is that?
I don't know, man. I think, like, the boxing one's a good example, man. Like, we'd have, like, some days we'd have 12 to 15 people out of our team at a boxing lesson, and the cost of the boxing lesson might have been like $200, so it's not bad at all. But then I think a lot of people look at that, because by the time your team puts down the tools, gets to that, does this class, gets back, warms back into it, you're potentially like 2.5 hours to 2.5, 3 hours, times 15 people, 45, like, that adds up, like the $200, it pales in comparison to the probably over $1,000 it'd cost you for that lost time. But I reckon spending that $1,000 there gets you more productivity out of every other hour of the week. But people don't think about that.
Big time. Just that investment in your team. I guess we've already touched on quite a few things that need a change in our industry. Is there anything that stands out to you, bro, or you can think of that maybe in building or in the trades that might need a change, or could do with a change, or something a little bit different? I think you touched on earlier, we don't really talk, bro. Like, I guess with the new gen being on the phones a lot, not just getting that engagement in Smoker. I just want to make a note as well. You spoke about alcohol being a bit of a segue into icebreaking and conversation starting. I think I agree, bro. Like, I'll I'll still have a beer every now and again with my old man, and it's more so to get him to open up.
Yeah.
You know, because I guess as the new gen, we're slightly a newer gen than them. We're a little bit more in touch with our feelings and a little bit more secure to speak about them.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I guess alcohol did provide that icebreaker to get people to relax a bit.
Yeah.
So if we could find a way to get builders or tradies to relax a little bit, be a bit more secure with themselves, they wouldn't mind having these kind of conversations. You know, same thing with fighters.
Yeah.
Fighters I spent 10 years fighting professionally, and it was the same. We'd use alcohol and it would talk about everything.
Yeah.
You know? But at the gym it was punch, tough guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But no, I think one of the things that businesses should be promoting is, businesses shouldn't underestimate the power of socializing as teams. Like, you know, the remote working thing's become a buzz since COVID and people had to stay home. And I'm pretty sure just about every business is going back to working in offices because, or working together in close proximity because it's good for us, you know? Like with the access to talking to people on phones or messaging and all of that sort of stuff, there's like the society, like we're more in touch with people, but we're way more disconnected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Antisocial.
Yeah, which is such a buzzy dichotomy where it's just a real weird thing. So yeah, I mean the phone is an enemy to me, man. Like I hate it. I hate how much I use it. I hate it affects our sleep. It affects connection. It gets in our way, man, a lot. Like it's a great tool for a lot of things, and there's a lot of benefits, obviously, but we've got to be real wary of it too.
Yeah, especially on the job and especially for our kids.
Yeah,
Hey,
100%.
yeah, that's going to be interesting seeing this generation grow up with as much phone exposure.
Yeah.
So, what about your girls? Any phones for them?
Nah. So, I mean, my girls are 5 and 7.
Yeah.
I've told them that my phone is a tool for work.
Yep.
They want an iPad and all these things, and no, I just say no. Like, I mean, they can watch TV. I'm not like a full digital.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, but no phones for them. I just they don't need them.
Nah.
You know.
Nope. Okay, what's one of the best pieces of advice someone gave you coming up in the building industry?
Probably something that we sort of live by in our team is do the right thing even if it hurts. And that's seen us right, man, through a lot of situations in our business where, you know, there's a lot of situations that we have to handle where you're picking the worst way of going about things, you know, or the best way of going about things. Like,
100%.
you got to do something. Either way sucks. Either way has consequences, but you got to pick a course of action. And a lot of the times that saying itself can just be the easiest thing to lean back on.
Yes.
And go, you know what? How it's going to help me sleep tonight? I'm going to make this decision.
Yep.
Because X, Y, and Z, it aligns with my values. Or, you know, if you can say it's the right thing to do and stand by that, then it just makes it easier, you know.
What's a go-to mindset trick or habit for those absolute dog days where nothing's going right?
Oh man, like, to be honest, you know, it'll sound cliche, but having some gratitude, man, like even on the most wretched of days, there's so many things that just by nature of living in New Zealand we should be grateful for, you know what I mean? And a lot of time it's be careful what you wish for. A lot of the things that come up in our business, for example, I'm like, I asked to be here. You know what I mean? My business is more than I ever thought it would be, and I'm lucky to be in this position. So yeah, I got to deal with the tough stuff that comes with it. But it could be a whole lot worse, eh?
Good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, bro. Gratitude. Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, bro, one that's good. Like, Sia Khaleesi, bro, you know, the South African rugby captain?
Yes.
He got asked how he deals with pressure, and he just like laughed, like it was a dead serious question. He laughed at the interview and was like, "Pressure's not playing in a World Cup. Pressure's like, where am I going to get my next meal?"
Yep.
You know, it's like, whoa, perspective-wise, it just opens your eyes up. You know, the things that we worry about sometimes are just not actually worries, bro. They shouldn't be.
Yeah.
We make it up ourselves.
Oh yeah, bro. Nah, you're on. That's it. What's one thing about your mental health you used to brush off, but you take it a little bit more seriously now?
Oh, it's probably just like not underestimating the importance of just real basics, bro. Like, I think as a young fella, you know, you can recover from a little bit of sleep and eating pies and drinking V's and smoking and drinking. But as I've gotten older, man, like if I look after all of those things, the rest of life is way easier, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and this thing is making sense. It's not leading me down the garden path, you know. So
I like it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, bro. The basics. Hey, don't neglect the basics.
Yeah.
Because they look after us, bro.
Yeah.
Especially now, bro. We're getting older. Oh, you're on.
Yeah.
You're on. Quick one, just for me. Classic. What's your go-to at the bakery, bro? At the tuck shop. Smoker. If you didn't
bro.
bring your lunch, what's the go-to?
Honestly, bro, I love pies, man. Like, I could tell you the best pie shops in the Waikato. I could tell you just about the best ones in New Zealand, bro. But nah, and like solid steak and cheese is like the staple.
There it
But
is. Never mind this mince and cheese, bro.
But I'm about the exploration too,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like the Fairley Bakery down South Island, bro.
Okay.
Pork belly pie. The whole top is crackle.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Before we wrap it up, brother, awesome chat. Just to our listeners out there, the tradies or whoever's listening, any final messages or some takeaways?
Yeah, man. Like I would sort of remind people that our trade is the ultimate, bro. Like we're so lucky to be building, and doing the building. What I'd say to business owners is invest in your people, man. Like you invest in your people, it'll make your business something that you're proud to be a part of, that your people are working hard for, and I just think it's a real key to having a successful business. And then I guess what I would say to, you know, we've talked a lot about mental health today. What I would say to anyone who is having a bit of a hard time is just like, I don't know, if you're listening to this right now and you're having a hard time, reach out to your bro or your family or someone and just have a yarn. Let them know. Like if you need something real specific, just say, hey, I'm feeling a certain way about this. I was hoping I could talk to you about it. And if you're on the receiving end of that phone call from one of your bros or colleagues or family, just listen, man.
Okay, bro, if people want to look you up, get in touch. Where can they find you, bro? Insta, socials, what are your handles?
Yeah, so on Instagram, at Nate the Builder with the underscore at the end. Nice and easy. Not on Tinder or Bumble or anything like that, just FYI. Otherwise Hamilton. If you know I was in Hamilton, we'll have a yarn about any of this type of stuff. Let's have a coffee, man.
Good. And
Easy.
Sentinel Homes, that's you guys?
Sentinel Homes, .co.nz.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Me, brother.
Ka pai.